Welcome or welcome back to my channels. I have a ton of new to me indie makeup that has been accumulating for about a month. So I thought I'd try a new series type thing where I do one episode where I do first impressions, and then I come back and give you an updated review after I've had a chance to test it out. So this is going to be part 1, and then in a few months I'll do a part 2 where I check back in with you about these. If there's anything you really want to see a dedicated video or Instagram post on, let me know in the comments, but otherwise I'll just check back in with a roundup video. Also, I'm wearing Radiance nail polish from Clionadh Cosmetics. It looks terrible because I'm bad at doing my nails, but I usually get a comment asking what nail polish I'm wearing. It's Radiance polish from Clionadh Cosmetics. It's actually on sale right now through the 18th, and you can stack my affiliate code SEEKINGSHIFTS. I'll link it in the description if you're interested. Best nail polish ever if you ask me. Okay, so let's start with these from BellaBeauteBar. These were both sent to me in PR from the brand. We have 9 single shadows in the Oracle Chrome highlighter palette, and I do have an affiliate code with BellaBeauteBar. You can use it to save, I believe, 10% on your purchase, and I do earn a small commission, so thank you so much if you use it. I think some of these are actually on clearance, so you would get 30% off and you can't use a code on it. So I mean, that's an even better deal than using a 10% off code. I did actually film a dedicated video on these, and my SD card was corrupted, so I lost everything. Thankfully, my B-roll footage was on a separate SD card, and also I still have the Google Doc with all my notes. Let's start with these single shadows. They sent me 9 shadows. They come in just a normal envelope. They don't come with this palette, but you can buy this palette separately. It has holes in the back so you can pop them out. Okay, first of all, you guys are going to flip. If you're a frequent watcher of my videos, you know I'm obsessed with the shade Saltwater Pearl from the Clionadh Deep Sea Treasures palette, but you can only obtain that by buying the entire Deep Sea Treasures palette, which is $100, I think. So I'm thrilled to announce that there is not only a dupe to Saltwater Pearl that comes in single form, but there's also another shadow on the same exact formula that comes in purple. So let's go ahead and do those first. Okay, so this one is called Iconic Glam, and this is the one that's a dupe to Saltwater Pearl from Clionadh. Do you see this? So these are packed with such a high concentration of micro glitter shimmer particles that they reflect an insane amount of light. It creates a super high impact, intense, reflective sheen without being textured or foiled. They're so smooth and silky. So you can use it as a topper shade or all over your lid to just create this veil of reflected light. So Iconic Glam looks almost white from straight on. It's just to a greenish mint and then a blue. But from straight on, it's this silvery platinum. And I like using these as face highlighters too, but it's a really blinding face highlighter. And it is a little bit more high impact than Saltwater Pearl, but even though it is more high impact, I feel the overall effect on the eye is pretty much the same. I was even more excited about the shade Velvet Glam because this is basically Iconic Glam, but it's purple to teal to green instead of mint to blue. You'll probably be able to see it better in the B-roll swatch footage, but I think I actually like this one even more because it's more shifty, and I'm a sucker for pastel purples. But this again has a really concentrated micro sparkle effect, and it's just so reflective, but in a pearlescent, refined way, rather than being chunky or glittery. And I honestly have really nothing like these in my collection besides Saltwater Pearl. This type of formula and finish and effect is so unique, and I would love to see more colors of these. Next, this shade is called Dragon Hollow, and it's a mossy green that has a gold reflect from straight on, and from an angle it shifts to green, teal, blue. These are the type of hollow, it's all the same particle size, and the hollow flecks are mixed into the pigment rather than having the larger flakes of holographic pigment like the Shine by SD Halo Horizon collection I showed you recently. And the hollow flecks are just a ton of different colored pinpricks of sparkle. I see gold, orange, blue, teal, green. It has a smooth, shiny finish, but also has a ton of concentrated sparkle. So let me know. I can do comparisons on my Instagram stories. I lost the footage of comparisons, and it's really going to take me hours to do that again. So I will take comparison requests, but I cannot bring myself to refilm all that. Okay, next is Unicorn Tears Hollow. Nothing can compete with the first 2 shades I showed you, but if those were not included, this would be my next favorite. Sorry, that was a terrible swatch. I cannot talk and swatch at the same time. This is a beautiful, spicy, neutral hollow, and you can actually see those hollow flecks. Sometimes hollows are dull from some angles. The hollow flecks really pop out. It's this pale, almost rosy taupe, and then there's these different colored flecks of hollow. I see pink, green, gold, and teal, but there's tons of colors in there. It shears out beautifully, but it would also be really nice in the center of a halo eye or an inner corner shade. This one felt a little bit more thick and soft to the touch compared to Dragon Hollow, but it also did smooth out really easily. Okay, now this one is called Sapphire Glam. This is another hollow. Again, it has those multicolored flecks of hollow sparkles. And it's this like cool tone periwinkle blue, and it shifts to like indigo, purple, and even maybe a little bit of pink. I have shades that are similar to this, like Star Sign from Terra Moons or Hyperbolide, but nothing with this hollow effect, so I think it's really pretty. But if you have a large collection, you might already have something similar to this. Okay, next up is Mermaid Tears. This is a really flaky boy with a large particle size. Like, I don't know if you can see, but the flakes are almost like 3D coming off my finger. I've mentioned in previous videos how there's like some flaky shades that are like, I've called them spiky. They feel jagged along the edges and very hard to the touch almost. This is like the opposite of that. This is like very, very soft. Like, I don't know if one is better than the other. All I know is that with these super flaky shades, it's going to take a learning curve and it's going to take a little bit of extra work regardless. This is one you would definitely want to use a tacky base for, just to simply get it to adhere to your eyelid. When I was applying to my bare eye, I had this experience where the flakes almost like stuck out in a 3-dimensional way. I did remove it for science just to see what would happen if I put it over a very thin layer of Fear and a Pixie epoxy. And once I did that, it did apply beautifully and I really liked how it looked on my eyes. I haven't had a chance to wear this throughout the day, so I can't speak to wear time yet. But all I can tell you right now is that it looks so much better over a tacky base than it did over my bare lids. And I'm usually someone who prefers to not use a tacky base. So I don't know what that says about the overall formula. But like I said, the long and the short of it is that with these super high impact flaky shades, there will be some extra effort required, whether it's trying to smooth out these like shards of flakes or having to be cautious with this super soft, delicate formula and needing to use a tacky base. So either way, like, it's gonna be a little bit of extra effort. It's just a matter of like what sounds more appealing to you if you're even interested in a shade like this at all. Next up is Sunset Rose. And this is another pretty flaky, soft shade, but it's not quite as intensely flaky as the one I just showed you. This is like a vibrant coral, and it shifts to like an orange and gold. It reminds me of like a lighter and more cool tone version of shades like Terra Moon's Crimson Eclipse, Devinah Cygnus, Clionadh Torch, shades like that. So it's pretty if you're into that sort of thing, but just be aware it is another one of those flaky shades, just not as super flaky as the one I just showed you. Okay, next. This one's called Strength. And I'm pretty sure this is part of a collaboration with Ellie Star Makeup and Brittany Huffman over on Instagram. And this is a really unique, true primary red. It is so foiled and metallic. Can you see that? So opaque too. You know what? This reminds me of what I think the shade Leon from Odin's Eye would look like. I don't have that one to compare it, but based on what I've seen of like swatches and footage of that, this looks super similar in that it's this like really opaque red. It is flaky, but as you can see, like it smooths out beautifully and it creates this like smooth layer of opaque foiled metallic. I can't tell if it shifts. I feel like maybe it shifts a little bit to like an orange, or maybe that's just like it reflecting light in a different way. But either way, I think it's really unique and pretty. Is it something I'm going to wear like on a Tuesday afternoon? No, but I feel like this would be really cool for creative looks. Last one we have here is called Recovery. I think this is also from that collab with Brittany Huffman and Ellie Star Makeup. And this is another one of the really, really flaky, delicate shades. I don't know if you can see here. Like, you just dip your finger in a tiny bit and it's like, you have to be super careful. But anyway, it's like that really common type of multi-chrome shift, like magenta, orange, gold, green. But I've never had it in like this high impact of a formula. So you can see here, it's super shifty. I've talked about this before, how this is like the most common type of multi-chrome shift. Like if you have a palette with a multi-chrome or any like black-based multi-chromes, you probably have a dupe to this in a different formula. But if you like it, here it is in this formula. It's really pretty. My favorites by far are these two, Velvet Glam and Iconic Glam, and also Unicorn Tears. I also really like this one, Strength, for like a more creative look. As for these two more flaky formulas, I'm going to keep testing them out, and then when I report back to you guys in my follow-up video, I'll let you know if I find any tips or tricks for using them. But here these are all together. I'll pop up labels on the screen. Okay, here we have the Oracle Chrome Highlighter Palette. This is a highlighter palette with 6 different shades, and it seems like there's a few different formulas going on in here. I have used all of these on my face at this point. So the thing with like standard iridescent duochromes and multichromes is that usually there's a lot of crossover within shades because iridescents are basically just like the raw pigment mixed with the brand's like base formula. So like, for example, between the series 1 and 2 iridescents from Clionadh, the sugar drops from Devinah, Terra Moon's iridescent, there's all going to be dupes, and that's the same for these like highlighter palettes. There's going to be some overlap, except for when they have like these blended shades with different colored flecks of sparkle, like this one, the Moon. So if you have a robust iridescent eyeshadow collection, you may have a dupe to multiple shades in here, but these are like specifically formulated to be face highlighters. So there's 6 shades, as I said. There's the Lovers. This is about on the thicker side, but when you apply it with a brush, it does sheer out nicely. And I know people prefer to see like cheek swatches, but honestly, like I'm having skin irritation. I just can't put my face through that right now. I did do them on the back of my hand so you can kind of see how they sheer out. So here's the Lovers, and this one's a bit on the thicker side. It shifts to pink, orange, gold, green. This is really pretty for a face highlighter. You can also use these as eyeshadows too. I haven't used them on my eyes, but I feel like they would work the same. The next is the Moon. This is one of my favorites in here. This is like a sheer beige, and it has flecks of sparkle of like green, pink, orange, and silver. But they're like such tiny flecks that you really can't like detect them on your face. It just looks like a more dimensional finish. So on my skin tone, I feel like this looks really good. I can't speak from experience about what it would look like on deeper skin tones, however. The next is the Sun. This is the one I was most excited about. It's this very intense orange, gold, green. I freaking love orange, spicy orange iridescence. And this one is a little bit more emollient than the others, and I definitely recommend just going in with a brush straight away instead of using your finger, because I did get a little bit of hard pan at first. But that's not a deal breaker for me because I don't use my fingers to apply a powder highlighter. I always use a brush, and as long as I only use a brush in here, it's fine. But anyway, I just want to make you aware of that. Here this is beautiful, so spicy, so orange. It's like an orange, gold, green. Okay, these bottom 3 are like all the same formula. They're very silky, a little bit of sparkle, but they kind of like melt into the skin. So the High Priestess is a green, blue, purple shade. It's a bit on the thinner side and kind of just like melts into the skin. But as you can see, there is a little bit of sparkle in here. Next, the Star. This is like a blue, indigo, purple. Again, that same formula as the High Priestess. Here is the Star. And then last we have the Magician, and this is like a purple blue. It's like a magenta purple blue. Again, these 3 all have like the same formula. So here is the highlighter palette swatched out. And like I said, I lost all the comparison footage of this and other iridescents, but if you'd like to see it, I can maybe do it on my Instagram stories or something. I also have the Blend Bunny highlighter palette, so I can maybe do those side by side. Okay, this is a subscription box. This one's not available anymore because this was from August, but they have one for September, and you can look at spoilers of the box, and this one, the one for September, actually looks really good. This is from a brand called EyeScream Beauty, like EYE Scream, and they sent me this like subscription box to get my feedback on it, and I'm basically just gonna read to you from the notes of what I sent the brand in an email. So first, they have this palette called the Mermaid Tales palette. This is like a palette that they did exclusively for the box with this brand called EyeScream Beauty. It's called the Mermaid Tales palette. So it has like some mattes. It looks like it has 2 duochromes, and then it has some standard shimmers. And this is not a color story that I would realistically use. Like, if you know my taste, you know this is not really something I would use. The palette for the September box looks really good. I don't want to say the brand, but it's like a more well-known indie brand. So there's this palette. And I think these are $25 per month for the subscription box. And normally I'm not a huge fan of subscription boxes, but this one you can like get a sneak peek of what's in it. So I feel like if you know you would really use like the things that are in the sneak peek, then it could be a really good value. Okay, the next thing is it's a loose pigment from this brand called Mermaid Scales Cosmetics. I've never heard of this brand. Let me know if you have. And my hands are so filthy. It's like a blue with a bunch of different colored flecks of sparkle. Hopefully you can see here. So I know loose pigments aren't for everyone, but this is really pretty and it has a ton of different dimensional sparkles in it. I would probably press this, but I might just pass this along to someone who I think would use it more. Okay, next they have this multi-chrome liquid liner from a brand called Charmacy, who again, I've never heard of this brand. But This was, I think, the best thing in the box. A regular liquid liner, but let me swatch it for you. Super shifty and opaque. This is like the same pigment as like Forge from Clionadh or like Mirage from Terra Moons, like those types of multichromes. So I feel like this could be cool for like graphic liner looks. And I've always wanted to try a multichrome liquid liner, but I feel like I've never been able to justify buying one because I have millions of multichromes pretty much in my collection. So I'm excited to try this out and maybe do some more like creative graphic liner looks with it. Then this is from a brand called Beauty for Certain. It's by the rapper Bia or BIA. I don't know how it's pronounced, but anyway, it's a liquid lipstick. I really like the packaging of this. Here's the outer packaging. Like, isn't that nice? But anyway, it's like a metallic red liquid lipstick. And then the last thing is this like moisturizer from a brand called Earth Harbor. It's called Mermaid Milk. And it's pretty. Like, the packaging is glass. It feels luxe. It has coconut oil as a second ingredient. And I'm super acne prone, so that's just like a nightmare made in hell. So I'll be passing this along, but the packaging is nice, and I think the theme of this box is mermaid, so I like that it's like mermaid, there's like multiple mermaid things. So there's that box if you're interested. Like I said, I'm pretty sure it's $25 a month, and you can see I think at least half of the items that are going to be included in there. So it could be a great value if you are really into the items, but I understand mystery boxes or subscription boxes are not for everyone. Okay, next, this is just like a one-off thing. This is an Opal Shadow Potion from Karla Cosmetics in the shade Pillow Fight. They sent this to me in PR, and I already have the pressed shadow of Pillow Fight. I think it's going to be cool to have this in a like Opal Shadow Potion formula because it'll be really good for layering. And this is another spicy orange. It's like orange, gold, green. Like I said, I feel like this would be cool to like put all over the eye and then layer like another iridescent on it or something like that. We should put Ice Blink on top of this to see what happens. Okay, so here's Ice Blink on top. Yeah, I feel like that just looks like a more spicy version of Ice Blink. But anyway, I definitely want to experiment with this a little bit more and do some layering. I do have an affiliate code with Karla Cosmetics, but I'm going to be so honest with you. I think they're really overpriced. I don't really necessarily recommend buying from them unless they're having like a really good sale or something. So if you do plan to make a purchase from Karla Cosmetics, feel free to use my code. I definitely appreciate it. But like I said, I think their stuff is like way too expensive, honestly. Okay, here we have... These are from a brand called Dualism Beauty. These were sent to me in PR, and I did paid swatches for their website. These are the Prism lights, and these are holographic iridescent multichromes. I'm going to link Millie's video below. She did a dedicated video on these with some looks. So I think these are all sold out. They are going to be a permanent item, and they are going to restock them. I'm not sure how soon, but these are like iridescent multichromes mixed with holographic pigments. So the cool thing is, like, I don't know if you've had like regular hollows before, but sometimes from a certain angle, they can look kind of dull if you're not in the right lighting. But these where the hollow part is like not as visible, you have that iridescent multichrome coming through. And the owner of the brand, Casperin on Instagram, is honestly wonderful. He's so nice. And I really like the packaging. It's like two faces for like dualism. It's also like a butterfly because he loves butterflies. Super cool packaging. And these come in these like compacts, but you can also take the shades out. I know for the last batch he told me that the hand size was a little bit off, so they're kind of difficult to get out, but he's going to correct it for the next run. And these are a little bit like emollient, not like squishy, but they do feel kind of emollient to the touch. And they do, I haven't used all these on my eyes, I've only used Citrine so far, but they're really pretty. So anyway, let's just go through them. So we have Bismuth, which is like a pink, orange, gold, green. Here's Bismuth. These are $12.99 each, by the way. So it's a really competitive price point. So here's Bismuth. Next we have Citrine, which Cass actually told me was inspired by my obsession with spicy orange iridescence. So this is like a reddish orange to regular orange to gold to green. Here it is. I love it so much. This is definitely my favorite. And my next favorite is Pyrite. And this is also an orange, but it's more of like a yellowish orange to, it's like a yellowish orange to gold to green. Still orange, but you see the tone is a little bit different. Next is Fluorite. And this is like a green to blue to purple. And then we have Celestine, which is like more of a teal to blue to purple. Hopefully you can see the difference here. Amethyst, which is like a primary blue to purple to pink. You can really see the hollow flecks there. This one's called Rhodochrosite. I know I said that wrong. But this is like a purple to pink to gold. Then we have Praziolite, which is more of like a hot pink. It's like a hot pink to gold to green. Similar, it's really similar to this top one, Bismuth. I don't know if you would need both. Okay, and then we have
Agate.
This is another like pink, gold, green. These like pink ones are all really similar. I think you can just pick which one you like look of best. This reminds me of like Lunar Spectrum from Terra Moons or like Indulge from Shine by SD. And then the last one is called Quartz. And this one is like really hard to describe. I feel like maybe it has a tiny bit of pink, but it's mostly like pink, green, teal. Really unique. I don't think I have any iridescent multichrome similar to this. I have a post on Instagram that goes over these in depth. And then the other thing they sent me, this is a collaboration with a creator on Instagram. Their name is Landon and Lyric. I don't know if they're like Landon or Lyric, or I don't know. But they do drag, and I believe they're a Trixie Mattel impersonator from what I've seen. But they look like they're very talented. But anyway, these are like loose flakes. Look at this color. I haven't swatched these yet. I don't have any like tacky base for these. Okay. I don't have a tacky base, so I just put a layer of moisturizer on the back of my hand. We're just going to hope for the best. But I'll just pat them in. These are so vibrant. I don't think the camera is like picking up, but in person, they're like insanely reflective and vibrant. But loose flakes definitely require a learning curve. Dualism actually sells their own like mixing medium or like tacky base, and it's pretty good. And it's at a good price point. So anyway, here's this. Oh, and I didn't even tell you what the name of it is. It's called Pixie, and here's what it looks like. Again, I really like that packaging. So that's everything from Dualism Beauty. These are from a new Polish indie brand called The Dots Cosmetics. So they sent me this palette, the Cecily palette, and they sent me some duochromes with this magnetic palette. So this is a really exciting brand, honestly. First of all, let's talk about this palette. I really like this color story. It reminds me of the BH Cosmetics Blueberry Muffin palette. Okay, I'm going to use my notes of what I sent the brand as feedback to give you my first impressions about this. So, things I really enjoyed about this is the clean, user-friendly packaging. It feels very high quality and durable, and I love like the logo and how it matches the imprints in the pans. Mine are kind of like going away because I've swatched and used this palette. But anyway, the big selling point here is the customizability, because these can all be popped out. They did send a little tool, but I already lost it, to be honest with you. You can also use like a magnet tool to pop them out, or they have little holes on the bottom. But they have labels on the back, so you can kind of like mix and match and rearrange this color story. And these are the same size as I believe like Lethal Cosmetics and Adapt. They're like 26mm squares. So if you have palettes from those brands too, you can like mix and match between all of them. So the matte formula is so good. It was really easy to build up and blend. It feels soft, but it doesn't have kick up. They look true to tone on the eyes compared to what they look like in the pan, for my skin tone at least. The shimmers are nice. They're a little bit gritty, but they're very high impact and they look good on the eyes. Like they don't emphasize texture or anything, and they have a pretty reflective, high impact spark finish. Some of these are duochromes and some of them are just like foiled metallics. And I really like the range of depth and tones, and I feel like it was easy to think of looks with this palette. So I've only used it to create 2 looks so far, and I want to keep using it before I report back. But I was really happy with the 2 times I've used it for looks. So here are these duochromes that they sent me. These are available as singles, and then you can buy this like little palette to put them in. You can also create your own customized palette. They have a pretty cool tool on their website to do that. These are more of like a soft satin finish, and I think that has to do with the actual pigments used. And these have like themed dessert names. They're like blueberry cheesecake, like raspberry sorbet, I think. This one is lemon tart. So I think the theme is cute and the like colors match the names. I think this one's like key lime pie. So So I'll pop up swatches on the screen. I did also tell them that it's really important to have swatches of a range of skin tones on their website. I know they're like a brand new brand, but I mean, there's so many creators on Instagram who do commission swatches who have medium and deep skin tones. I told them I'd be happy to give them a list of creators who I know who do swatches. So I haven't heard back about that yet, but that's definitely feedback I had for them. So we'll see. I'm excited to see the brand grow. I feel like there's so much potential here. And if you live in the EU, it could be a great option if you want to try an indie brand or customize your own palette. Okay, last thing, I placed an order with Pretties for Your Face. I picked up shadows during one of their sales. They have a sale like every 5 minutes for 50% off. And you can also stack affiliate codes on this. So I used one of my friend's codes. I'll put a bunch of people's codes in the description. I don't have one. I don't need one, but I know a lot of my friends do. So definitely use one if you order from Pretties for Your Face. And definitely only order from them if they're having a 50% off sale. But anyway, I paid like just a little bit over $20 for all 12 of these shadows, including shipping, which is like insane and unheard of. I wanted to try out this brand. I have tried them before. I didn't really love it, but I wanted to give them another chance because I'm trying to feature some more affordable brands on my channel. So I'm just going to swatch and give you first impressions of all these shades. So first, we have a shade called Valentine Baby. This is described as a silvery pink shifter with tons of sparkle, made in collaboration with Cecily on Instagram. I'll link her below. She just wanted to create like a light pink sparkly standard shade, not with any shifts or anything, just like a light sparkly pink, and that's exactly what this is. And I already have used this on my inner corner today, and I feel like this is going to be like a new go-to inner corner shade for me because it's not like so opaque or so vibrant, but it still brings a little bit of light to the inner corner and it has that sparkly finish, so it's really pretty. Definitely a drier formula. Next is Toil. And this is described as a taupe with a lavender shift. This pretty much looks exactly how they described it. It's a taupe with a lavender shift. Pretty smooth and metallic finish. I was hoping this would be more of a satin for layering, but I feel like this would still work to put like a more sparkly shade on top of. Okay, next is Baby Doll. And this says it was requested by creator Jillian Smith on Instagram, and it's a mix between two of their other shades, Asteroid and Titan. And this one is an absolute standout. It is so sparkly. Like, the fact that I got this for under $2 is insane. Look at this. So many different colored flecks of sparkles. This one I can see myself using a lot. Like, this is such a good spicy neutral. Next is Gina. This was created in collaboration with Regina's Makeup Stash. She's also on YouTube. I will link her below. This is really pretty, a really unique tone. And I think Regina described this as like her My Lids, but better shade. And I feel like it has this like almost glossy metallic finish. Really excited to use this. Really excited about this shade, especially since Regina created it. Love Regina. And I can see myself using this a lot, especially for layering. Next is Zabornak. And this is described as a metallic brownish taupe. This just looks like a cool tone champagne shade. And it's just like a pretty flat metallic. I could have done without this one, but maybe I'll feel differently once I put it on my eyes. Okay, next, this one I was really excited about. This is another collab shade with a creator, Ewok Rar on Instagram, and it's called Moby. It's described as a satin base of brown with a yellowish undertone, locked with a gorgeous green sparkle. And it's named after her kitty, Moby. Love that. This one looks really unique. I'm in a phase where I love satins, especially for layering. This reminds me of almost like the Velvet formula from Glam Shop. And I love this like kind of weird undertone. Really excited to use this on my eyes. This is going to be such a good one for layering. Look how pretty these all look together. Beautiful neutral tones. This one's called Oberon. I was hoping it would be like a bronzy shade. Wow, this is really textured. Really flaky and textured. And it's described as a deep brown with gold sparkles. This is definitely not for the faint of heart, but yeah, it has like a deep brown base and gold sparkles. I would say that's a pretty accurate description. Really unique undertone, I feel like. And then next is called Lighting. It's not called that. It's called Nightingale. Nightingale, and it's described as a red-based brown with a strong greenish gold flip. Oh, this one's really pretty. It reminds me of like carving from Clionadh, but like the metallic version. We have 4 more. And this is called Misty. I don't know why I picked this up. Described as a metallic ocean blue with a strong gold flash. Kind of reminds me of the shade Nerds from Devinah. So here this is. I don't think I needed this. Okay, next is called Childlike Empress, and I'm gonna have to show you a picture. When I got this, it had like black spots all over it, but it was determined that it was like unmixed iron oxides. And these are like very handmade. Like you can tell they're handmade. This is described as a silver base that shifts to turquoise when it hits the light. This color is so pretty. I'm so excited to use this for layering. Here this is. And again, it's a blue, which I don't use a whole lot, but I feel like it's so muted and like watercolory that I can see myself using this a lot. Here is Scatty. And this is described as a gorgeous deep greenish brown with lots of gold flash. This is another one created by EWalkRar on Instagram, and it's also named after her cat Scatty. And this one, I was hoping would be like kind of similar to Moby with that like satin base and the sparkles, but it's more like a flat green. This will be good for layering. Okay, last is Fried Oreo, and this is a satin. It's described as a super dark black and brown with a satin finish. And this is, it feels like a matte, but it has this like very slight amount of sheen. Oh, yeah. I can tell you right now I'm going to use this as a deepening shade so much. Because look how like, it's like this really rich, deep brown. Like it's not a black. Can you see that around the edges? Beautiful. So anyway, here's my little haul. I will pop up labels on the screen. Let me know if you've tried Pretties for your face. Do you have any recommendations? Is there anything you want to see me try for science? I mean, for such a low price point, I feel like it's a risk I'm willing to take. I really like the way these all look together. Wow, I'm so tired from filming. That's going to be it for this video. I hope you liked it. I hope you found it helpful. Let me know if any of these were interesting to you, if there's anything you want to see me talk more about, or if there's any comparisons you'd like to see. But other than that, I will see you in the next one. Bye!